right to it. Let's the treasurer the treasurer report. Can you put that up? We've got the bank statements are the three bank accounts we have, so we need to throw them up there.
Yeah, so let's see.
Here they are. So that 90 that Coco is what? That's what where we receive the money.
That's the money we're receiving, the
Okay.
90,201.
All right.
9162 is where we pay the bills. And
Okay.
then it should be another one with how much money and the $101,000 is what we got in the piggy bank for
Yeah.
safety net.
So basically, when we're sitting on it, just so we know that 90's not. We've still got more to collect, and with the Scott Sport, we're not having a problem, but we're gonna have to sort through it a little bit. Because it doesn't work the same way that got soccer did, and got soccer it was bad enough because we get many electronically from you guys. A lot of times we've got to sort out who it's from. When we get checks, it's much easier. So we'll run it down, believe me.
So we Paul, we got a pretty good healthy bank account.
Yes, yeah, and I think that we're gonna we'll I was talking to Greg about this, that you've got 25 different leagues, you got people coming back from COVID, so our numbers are down. Okay, we don't have to concern ourselves with the finances for a while. We can still cover all our expenses. We can cover all of our clerical expenses, which is most important in running a league that's good. We can pay all our refs. We can do everything to pay all our assigners. And we could probably do that for a good 2 years, maybe longer. So this league is here really to make sure that everybody's got a place to play. And that's what we're going to continue to do. So we've just got to stay focused on our job and not worry about everything else, all the leagues. Because, the amount of leagues we have that claim to have all these great players in them. And we all know there's not enough teams to go around to populate one of those leagues, maybe two. The rest of it's all nonsense, which we know. So we're here to schedule people who want to play soccer and want a good soccer experience. Promise them anything beyond that, I think, is silly. I think we've got to run the best organized league we can, and that's all we can do. But the amount of money we've got right now, it should be okay for at least 2 years anyway. But we got to get that money in this year. If you owe anything, please get it into us.
Okay. Also, Paul, just to piggyback, I think we are the only league, I could be wrong, in this area that offers scholarship to our players. So I don't think there's any other league who actually rewards the players that have been playing at USA League for many years with a scholarship if they're going to college.
Oh, and the guys in Central Florida have a program, and it's pretty nice too. But in this area, I don't think so. I don't think nobody's interested in kids. Once you wrung the money out of them, no one's interested in giving anything back. Let's face it. I mean, we're just a soccer organization. We're really not in this for a profit. This isn't a for-profit thing. No one derives any profit from it. So we'll just stay at it like we are. And financially, I think we can stay in the black and take care of what we got to clerically, because that's really, the league is a clerical organization. Let's face it, and that's really what we're good at. This Scott soccer thing, though, is a problem, and let's get into that right now. So this is the heart of the meeting. We've got 2 issues or 3 issues with Got Sport. One is that some parents and clubs have had a difficulty getting both the picture and the birth certificates out and into the Got Sport format, which for our purposes means that the player passes are not I don't know if you can generate a player pass. If someone please tell me out there, can you generate a player pass without a picture? Could you come
Yes, you
to,
can. You
okay,
can.
so if
No,
someone
you
comes without
can't
a
generate a
picture,
player
we're fine.
pass without a picture.
Okay,
I have player passes right now in PDF form that do not have pictures on them.
so when they come to the fields, well, what do we do with that?
Yeah.
You may have to
who
do it
is
the
that?
old-fashioned way.
Melissa,
Cut and paste
Melissa,
the
is that
picture
you?
on there.
No, I would not allow that. I honestly don't know why there's so many issues. I personally am not having issues with pictures or birth certificates. But I also run everything through me and I don't leave it up to the parents. So I don't know if that's an option. I have a lot of players and I do it all and I'm not having any issues.
So why
Yeah, I
don't you
think
have
we've got
pictures on
some,
the
are
player
there clubs
pass?
out there that are having issues?
I understand. I'm just saying that I think
No,
some of
no,
it is
I'm
certainly,
talking to the crowd, not to you.
Oh.
We don't have any FC Tampa. We've been able to get it all done too. But we've got people that really are very experienced and are facile with the software, and they're able to get it too. But I'm hearing from other people out there, they can't get, the parents are doing it or have to do it, and they're not having a lot of success. What that means
I
is
got a question.
and who is having that problem, that they're not being able to generate player passes?
I got a question for Melissa.
Yes.
And the question is, you said you have player passes generated without pictures.
yeah,
From my understanding and my registrar speaking with Godsport, if you don't have a picture, you can't get a player pass. So maybe
It depends.
that's very
it depends
conflicting
on how
information.
it depends on how the registration event has been set up. So if FYSA set it up to allow you to roster players without birth verifications and pictures, then it works. And I have 70 teams in FYSA right now, and I'm not having any issues with those and putting pictures on.
Can we assume from that FYSA has then set everybody up with the same exact, they wouldn't have a separate thing for one club, right?
Correct. It's system wide. So it would be statewide.
Right. So we're assuming here, anybody can generate a player pass and a roster without verification and a picture. Is that essentially correct?
Well, you'll see a roster without verification, but the players still need to be verified to play.
Well, what I'm saying, Les, is if someone cannot do that, in other words, for some reason, now why, I don't know, but I have multiple people who have called or emailed me and said, we're having a problem getting the player passes, getting a picture on, and getting the birth certificate into the into the system. Why, I don't know, but I just know that that's been a complaint. If it's if people show up at the fields, here's the problem. People show up at the fields, they're just not able to get it in. And what do? Well, we assume they're insured and are registered, or we tell them to go home after driving 75 miles.
A roster without a player pass makes 0 sense, and without verification, because that just doesn't work.
Well, in your lexicon, and you would say the game cannot take place, correct? That's the real question right now. You get to the field, you're not able to do that. Don't drive there if you don't have player passes and rosters, right, Les? I mean, that would be how would you handle that? Or how are we going to handle it? Let's put it that way.
And if I can interject too, I've been getting some questions about if we would accept digital player passes.
What does that mean?
I mean, I guess just on your phone or something?
There's an option in Sport for a digital player pass file. FYSA does not have that activated. It's possible, Sherry, that you could activate that in your setup in the event. I would also suggest maybe checking the event setup. I'm honestly not totally familiar with this, but I would check the event setup and make sure that there's nothing preventing teams or, people from uploading pictures.
Yeah,
Or that
I'm
they're
so-
not locked. That's the problem with some of the other leagues, is that they were locked and they had to be unlocked.
Yeah, I think when I set up my event, I went through that with Got Sport, but I'll take a look one more time just to make
Well,
sure.
Sherry, here's
I
my
don't think it's
question,
on
then.
your
Could
end.
someone show up at the field? So the form, what I think you're saying is someone on their phone will have all the player passes?
I'm making that assumption.
No,
I'm
no,
not
that's what I'm
sure.
saying, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
The coach or team manager that is assigned to the team would have access to that through their Got Sport account.
So they could show up and
Can
instead
I-
of the actual pass, they have it in a digital form on a,
Correct. It would be the
Well,
whole
their phone.
file of the whole team. It would be
Well,
the whole
in
file.
the past, Paul, and I don't know if something changed, but the referee will not accept a pass unless it's laminated and presented to the referee, not on your phone.
Well, if I can interject for a second,
yeah, that's why we're here.
as just as a future thing, not for right now, but if, for instance, FCL is intending to go completely to digital. There is somebody that isn't muted. Can you please mute yourself?
Okay, well, Mom will probably buy.
So FCL is intending to go fully digital. So I'm absolutely sure that and they are already back into the Got Sport system. So I'm pretty sure that, as Melissa is saying, that is going to be a possibility.
Okay,
Again, though, you have to get
That's
back
one.
to the,
Everybody has to go digital for that to work. If some league is saying you can't use digital, then that's not going to work very well.
No,
well, if the referees are told they can accept digital and USA makes their rules say that they can accept digital, then they should be able to accept digital. But the problem still goes back to, you can't put a player on the field without an electronic digital picture in their player pass. So that's still, you still have to address that and what the resolve is going to be for that.
So, Melissa, you said you can add pictures in your system. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, because earlier you said you didn't have any pictures, but you have player pass without pictures.
I have some with and some without. If I go into any given team that may have already updated some pictures, I can see the ones that have pictures and I can see the ones that don't, and they will print in the file without pictures.
And that's actual player pass, right?
That's actual player pass. Yep.
Karen,
let's.
I have my
backtrack for 1
registrar that
second.
just joined online. Karen, are you able to do that, Karen?
I'm having a hard time seeing them until everybody's verified. Can we also print individual ones, or do we have to print the whole sheet?
I've not gotten to that point yet. That's on my list of things to find out. I have not been able to figure out how to do one at a time.
Okay.
And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I may have had my teams entered into the FYSA registration event, and perhaps they changed something after I entered them to not allow players without a picture or a birth certificate, but I can't confirm that. But my teams have been in there for a while.
Okay.
Is there anybody else out there that's having any issues getting the information into Got Sport? That is the picture and the birth certificate. Anybody? So we're past the issue of having it in Got Sport. Is there anybody that can't get their player passes either digitally or printed out?
So when you say digitally, how are you, well, what are you talking about digitally?
I'll tell you, there's an option when you go into a team and you click on rosters and you click on, say, the FYSA event in the drop down, and you go to the documents and IDs. There is a digital option there that FYSA doesn't activate and make available, but USA could make it available if they wanted to.
Okay.
But right now, Melissa, you couldn't show up at a field with when we say digital, what I understand it to be, and I have a very rudimentary software background, but what I assume it is that someone has all of the player passes on a phone.
Correct.
They're correct. They
Yep.
they have verification and pictures, but it's on the phone. It's digital. It's not a pass per se.
Yep,
That's
there's
what we're
states-
talking about with digital.
Yep, and there are states all over the country that do nothing but digital, just like Juan was saying, they are definitely going to that for sure.
If has anybody done that here in Florida yet? Showed up at a match? When does FCL start, Juan?
FCL starts on September 11 for most of the teams. The academy teams will start on October 3rd. I just inquired with our administrator, and she says that the pictures that we are being able to load the pictures and to upload the pictures. And she also says that she's doing passes. She's got an issue, but with the payment, not with the passes themselves.
And the MLS Next is completely digital with their player identification as well. So there's plenty of people out there that are doing it.
Paul, if I can say what Kate Quarles doing, we're going to go the old-fashioned way, and we can have it available either or. We have Becky McLaren as our registrar, who's now the FYSA secretary, and she's the one that's been working on it. I spent 3 hours at the AGM at the Got Sport seminar. There's so much going on with Got Sport, and we've been using Got Soccer, so it's really hard for people to turn off what they've learned for Got Soccer, especially with a lot of these team managers who got on board in our club, were very large last year, who just learned the Got Soccer, and now they're being asked to learn the Got Sport. So we're going to do several tutorials in our boardroom, bringing the team manager up to par and our coaches. But the EC board with Kate Core, we're requiring passes. We're requiring the picture on the passes. We don't want any loopholes to where if they're going to, we got a DPL league going on with some of our teams, they're traveling, and we got FSPL. We've got teams that are doing some of these different clubs and different tournaments, showcase tournaments. Yep. And every director and every tournament, as we all know, have different rules and policies. So we're going to cover our coaches. We're going to cover our teams. They're going to have passes and they're going to have pictures. They're going to be birth verified. They're going to be rosters. We're not going to let any T or I go undotted or crossed to where we go somewhere and one of our teams has to forfeit or come out if another team wants to bring something to that team's attention. And nowadays, I don't know about everybody else, but sometimes some of these team managers don't have an I-12 form or an iPhone 21 or whatever. Maybe you go to a field that don't have very good Wi-Fi, and then they can't.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah, so, you know, we're just, CCSA, we're covering our teams. He's been phenomenal with it. Very phenomenal.
The reason we're even having this discussion, Kathy, is it leads into, we are supposed to start next Sunday. There are some people, or Saturday, there are some people that may not be ready to show up at the field with their player passes and verified player passes. And that's what we're trying to, that's half of the problem. The rest of the other half, which we'll get to in a minute. But what
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I just need to make sure that everybody.
We're here to discuss this, so.
Well, I just need to make sure that everybody's very clear that I'm not sending teams out without pictures on the
No,
passes.
I get it. I
I'm
get
just
it.
letting you know that that can be.
No, I think what you said tonight is important. So somebody knows how to do it. If we got to, we know there is somebody to try and help somebody else get that done. Because I've had 4 or 5 different people last week and the week before that said they were having problems getting the pictures on and getting the birth certificates loaded.
The other thing too is if we're really requiring birth verification, then we need to really educate the referees so that they're looking for that on the passes. It's actually not on the passes anymore. It's only on the roster. So, which brings up another question. If USA is going to go with the match reports, I haven't seen a match report yet. I don't know if player verification shows up on the match report. It's
I don't know
not,
what
I will
match-
tell you,
I
it is
don't even know what-
definitely,
what is a match
not
report?
on the player passes this year.
It's not.
It's not.
Is it on the roster?
It is on the roster. It actually says on the roster, it'll say P/V, so it'll, under their status, so it'll say P for primary or V and then /V for verified.
Okay.
And I'm imagining if you put a club pass player on, it would say CP/V. I haven't gotten there yet. Because no secondary players, you wouldn't want to see a pass or a roster with secondary.
And there's no reason to have secondary players with
I
all
agree.
the flexibility there is now. It's silly.
I agree.
And we've even at USA, we used to have a whole set of, he couldn't play in the first. Now we're just trying to look, we want you insured and we want to see that you're from the club that you're playing with that day, period. We are past the point of worrying that somebody's gonna slip a player in because that's 20 years ago thinking. It really doesn't. If it happens, it doesn't happen in our league. It may happen, in State Cup or something. But it's week in and week out. People just don't do that. And sooner or later, if someone is sandbagging, we'll see them. They'll emerge. They'll be beating the dog crap out of everybody. So I'm not so worried about it. We stopped worrying about that to make it easier. What we're trying to do is make it easy to play soccer. We're not trying to make it harder. And what I'm getting to here, so let me pose a question to the entire group. So next Saturday, we start from a player pass roster standpoint. Do you feel that we're okay in doing that and we won't have a plethora of problems? I have had guys talk to me this week, a couple board members, and say, I think we should cancel this first week because all of the issues are not quite solved yet. And we'll go into the referees. That may put the kibosh on it entirely. But so please chime in right now and tell me, what do you think?
Well, we also have a couple of signers on here as well.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. Let's get the player pass part over first. Anybody think that?
Well, FC Tampa's ready to play next week.
Yeah, okay, good. Is there anybody out there not ready or that is
Winter Haven
not
is not
sure?
ready to play next week.
Who isn't?
Winter Haven is not ready to play next week.
Okay. Who else is honest?
Largo's ready. Largo's ready to play.
Larry,
Yes.
how are you?
Likewell else should be ready.
How about the guys? How about Wimama? How are you, Mort? Are you still there?
Martin said that he's having trouble with his internet. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm here right now. Yes, my internet is messing up, but yes, my mama's ready to go.
Okay, so you're having no problems. You get the pictures, you got the verification. Les,
Yes, sir.
what's holding you up, Les? I don't mean to pick on you. I'm just trying to figure it
I'll
out.
let my registrar address that. Karen?
Yes, sorry about that. We had a problem with getting our players and coaches even uploaded into GotSport. GotSport was working on it for 4 months, trying to get it uploaded, and all the information is corrupt that's coming over. So they're little by little filtering players and coaches in for us. So, I mean, we still have some players and coaches that have not been uploaded, and Mike Nieto is working on this information. They've had to kind of recreate and get lots of people involved to try to uncorrupt the information per se.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we're dealing with.
All right.
And we also have coaches that are not clear, have not got a background check back as yet.
Okay.
That's another issue we're having, and we can't put
Is
coaches
there
on the
anybody
field
else
with
out there
players
that's having
until
that
they're
same
completely
problem?
background checked.
All right.
I just got a message from Venice, and just to confirm, Greg, Heather is from Venice and they're ready to play.
Okay.
Thanks, Sherry.
Her mic's not
Now,
working.
look, okay, so let's just assume for a second, Les, we know the club, we know the integrity of the club. Can we work around the issue and still start playing? Where we are comfortable that the kids are registered and on age.
But
You know,
keep
we've
in mind,
started
every club
seasons.
is not on this call, and we don't know what other club issues are.
Yeah. So you're afraid you're going to send your kids somewhere and it's not going to be
Like
acceptable.
my first game is away. I have no idea what's going on at Florida Premier and whether they're ready or not.
And you can't, if a club is having trouble with some of their players just getting properly into the system, then those players potentially are not properly registered with FYSA, hence they're not insured. If you can't produce a player pass, then they're not properly insured.
So that would be the stance you'd have if they showed up at your place, they would not be able to play,
Well,
right? Correct?
I mean,
If I
yes,
can't ver-
yes,
Yeah, I'm just looking for an
either a
answer.
roster and the
If I can't
passes.
verify who they
It's
are,
not a
they
correct
can't.
answer, Melissa.
If
No,
I
I
can't
mean, I'm the registrar, so I'm a rule follower. It's so if you're not, you know, that's,
No reason to
you know.
apologize.
if I can't verify the player, they can't play.
Okay,
I agree with
okay.
that.
And
So same way,
Paul,
Les, at your place?
Paul, you will have, and Merritt can confirm this, is that the referees will follow that, hopefully, by the rule, and they will not, because they have to cover their butts too. In
Oh,
terms of
I agree. I agree.
liability.
Paul,
However,
I have
we-
a bigger question. The referee assigners, are they ready? Are all the
Yeah, well, that's
referee
the second-
assigners ready?
So let's just stop this part and say,
Because
look,
that's the biggest part. If they're not ready, then it doesn't even matter what we're talking about.
right, all right. Referee assigners, I see we've had a lot of issues all week. I see you guys working on it. That's Dave, Hugo,
Burke's out there too.
Burke. Are you guys, do you feel ready? Do you feel like the system is ready? I know Greg has said you can't get, he still can't figure out how to pay people. I'm assuming that's signers because the back end of it is not showing them anything. How about assigning the refs? Do you feel comfortable starting the season?
Let me go first then.
Yes, by all means.
So, about 2 weeks ago, we had a Zoom meeting with their signers and a representative from Scott Sport. It's been an absolutely nightmare for the signer to set up this system to work for us. I said it 2 weeks ago. I'm going to say it today. They didn't think of us when they made the system. We are building as we speak. And since in 2 weeks, we got over 130 email between the signer and Golf Sport to build the system so we can assign a referee. We will get referee down here in C5. We're going to get referee on the field, but the system itself, I got to be careful with my wording. It's a nightmare. It's an absolutely nightmare. And every day I spend several hours just to try to figure it out because we build as we speak. It's not like we had in golf soccer. So I sent out email to the signers and the representative got Sport. He tried to fix it. But I'm telling you, right now, it is absolutely a nightmare for that signer to do the right stuff. We notified referees. Referee doesn't get any notification. The signer doesn't get any notification of if they accept or decline a game. And finding referees, I'm telling you, it's, I gotta be careful what I say. It's a nightmare.
No, you don't, I mean, you're among friends here. No one's gonna show up at your house with a silencer and kill you.
I
That's
believe,
what-
here's
that's what
another
we're
thing
having
we have
this
to, what we have to realize too, is that this system, we don't pay for it, so it's free. So I absolutely don't think they thought of us when they set it up. Because when we communicate with the sport, oh yeah, we're gonna fix this, or we're gonna fix that. So what I'm saying is that for us, it's a nightmare. It's the worst thing. For 32 years I've been doing this. I've never seen it as difficult as it is today. But what I'm saying is that hopefully when the system is up and running, it will be good. But right now, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, but
For teams
we're
that's
talking
coming down,
about,
for teams that's coming down for seed 5 on the next week, we're gonna have referee. Either on God Sport, we're gonna have certified referee on God Sport or whatever. The referee's gonna show up.
all right. Hey, Burke, how about you?
Well, I totally agree with Hugo. They didn't prepare anything for us,
I know.
and they didn't think about us. And then we were trying to figure out, we are asking the correct questions and we don't get the answers on time. And we are trying to figure out the system ourselves as much as we can. In the first week, we might be struggling to notifying the referees and finding the referees. The reason is the referees asking us games, but the referees doesn't know how to use the system either.
Right.
So as an assigner, if we don't know the system, we cannot guide them correctly to go locate where the game is, availability and such and such.
Right.
So
How about
we
Dave?
have it.
Dave? How about you, Dave?
Well, I'm having the same problem. I have my games covered for next week because I called up refs and, I also somehow, some way, because it only works 50% of the time, have assigned a couple of guys, called them up and see if it went through. But if I can't see whether they accepted it or not, I did email David from Got Sport and said that I think that he should put something together like they did with Got Soccer, like this is what the assigners do to set up. Step 1, step 2, and so forth and so on.
Sure, a
And
tutorial.
also for referees, this is how you sign up for Got Sport. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and etc. I don't think that's such a hard thing because on Got Soccer, they did it for us. Why can't they do it for us now? It's the same guy who set up Got Soccer years ago. So why can't he do it now? I just don't get that. I said, you don't have to bring it over, the Got Soccer program over to Got Sport because they want to wipe out everything and start anew, but just mirror the damn image,
Oh,
because
I get it.
we
I
can't
think
do anything.
Just enough. I mean, we're dealing with something here that if this were private business, this were a business and not
I'd
a
fire
borough, that someone would be fired already who did not ask the proper questions and did not get half the information they needed to make this change. If this were a private business, whoever that was would have been gone 2 months ago.
Exactly.
But this is not a private business. We've got executive directors, and they answer to nobody. This is a horrible, stupid, ignorant mistake and should have never happened this way. However, we're now the guys that are in the middle of the barrel. My question to you guys is, can we start next week with any certainty and feel moderately comfortable that we can get the refs to the matches?
Well, I know I only have a couple of games, so I have that covered already. but
All right.
there's a
Same
lot
thing
more
down in
games
Fort
out there.
Myers.
Burke, how about you?
Yeah, I covered the games. I
right.
covered the games.
How
We
about
have
Tony's
referees.
not on here? I see you guys all seem to be involved with each other and with
Sure.
Got Sport. So I see all the emails. It's been flying back and forth. Hopefully I can't tell if you're getting anywhere because I don't understand the emails, but I see the effort we're putting in trying to do it. And obviously it's not smooth yet because but this guy Dave seems to be at least better than what we've got so far, that he's starting to answer some questions. So we can start, here's my question. We can start the season from a referee standpoint, cross our fingers, but we could start next weekend and assume we're gonna have most of our matches covered.
I'm not near ready. I see nothing in the system.
Well, I can tell you that if this was a junior season, I would say, forget about it. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. There's no way.
Hey, Paul, I got a question.
Okay?
Hey, other leagues around Florida, do they use Got Soccer or Scott Sport for assigning?
I don't think so.
So how come we are doing it then?
That's the only system we've ever used is Got Soccer. We didn't
Well,
use it.
they use
Well,
it for.
Hugo.
Burke and Dave have other leagues they deal with.
Hugo.
How do you do it?
It's Got Soccer. It's free and then live. When Sherry makes changes, we can see it on time. So if Sherry makes changes, she needs to know. She needs to let the assigner know, and we gotta go back our system to change it. But when Sherry makes the changes on live, we will be able to see it without she's emailing one more time to assigners, hey, these games are changed. That is the only good size with the tournament director or event director and with the assigner.
When I make a change, do you receive some sort of notification?
No, we don't, but I can see which game is off, which game is not, because I take a screenshot.
I see. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were getting like notified.
No, I don't get any changes. I don't get any official decline the games. We don't get any notification, nor we can send the email out to officials that, did they get the game or are they available or not. There's no communication tool for the assigners.
Right. Paul, another thing this is probably minor, but game reports. I've mailed out the first batch, but I have requested, for the clubs to tell me, where do you want me to send them, right? If I just send them to the club, they might not get there. So I've only received probably 15 responses. So I'm sitting with these game reports and I need someone to tell me what to, where to send them. So I'm worried that if we start Saturday, some are not going to get there in time.
Here's my question. Don't we have an electronic, Sherry, when we see, I know we Got Soccer, we could see an uploaded.
I can upload a copy, sure.
Tell us somebody got their head cut off, a guy died, a guy did this.
Yeah.
So
I can do that.
But we can get electronic report. I mean, we can get a report if it's not on paper. That's my thing.
Yes.
If it's not, okay. All right.
Yes.
Hey, Sherry, I got a question for you.
Well,
Yes.
so the answer, let's go. Okay, go ahead. Ask Sherry.
Hey, so when it comes to a game and game report and all that stuff, is that going to be on Got Sport like we have on Got Soccer?
As far as like reporting,
you have a red card. You think that scores and all that, is that going to be in there too?
yes. Mhm.
But it's not posted yet, right?
It's actually, well, all the instructions are on the game reports.
No, I'm talking about us referee. I'm talking about us. In Got Soccer, I'm able to go in. I can see before the game roster. But
see what before the game, like the online game report.
Yeah, the game report.
No, I think that, again, I haven't done it, but my understanding, I watched a video, is it's from the public page. You just go in, you put in the game number, you put in the score, and then it gives you the option to report red and yellow cards and write notes. But I think it happens after the fact.
Got it.
Yeah, so to answer, I don't know who asked a question about what other leagues do. The other issue is a smaller group. And we got, we got, I don't know, 150, 200 teams right now playing, whatever it is in the senior season. Not as much as it used to be, but still a lot. And trying to manage that with a different referee system at this point in time would be impossible. Although, for me, if we never had got sport and went to some other, blue sombrero or something else during the year and we figured that out, that wouldn't bother me a bit, although it would be another change that we don't need. But this is really, this is creating problems. I think the biggest thing is, and all I can say, unless somebody has an answer for me, is we're going to have to work through the problems one at a time and with some understanding that this is a cluster screw up, and we've got to try and be as rational as possible with our with the people who are members of our league. They're not opponents, so we've got to try and keep that in mind starting this season. So the question is, the big thing, the big reason I wanted to have a meeting tonight to get this all hashed out, to hear from everybody, is as far as I hear, we start Saturday and go see how it is. Yes? I know I've had guys call me, tell me, no, don't do it. So you can be free to tell me that right now too. We could cancel the first match, not push anything back, just cancel it. We'll make it up like a rain day. In fact, it may be raining. We don't even know what Maria's doing or whoever, Grace. But if we say right now, look, we're 1 week away from really being better organized, we'll cancel that one. We've got plenty of dates to make it up in the end. Or we go ahead and start. What do you think?
Hey, Paul, why don't you let the team that is ready to play, let them play? And if the other one is not ready, they can do what you're talking about.
Okay, but hold that thought.
The only concern here, Paul, as I said before, 200 teams that are involved are not on this call. So we don't know what other teams are experiencing.
Yes. That's exactly, Les, I don't know how else. But that brings up a thought. Les, if you tell your coach, email that coach for next week and tell him your club is not ready for one reason or another. It doesn't matter what it is. All that you've done is really, you haven't got the time frame we'd like. But
I know for a fact that my team is not ready.
Yes, so we tell your opponent, and there's no issue. He doesn't say you're going to play or else. We don't fine you, and it's not we. So if we say, look, you're going to individually decide whether you can play or not this weekend, and there will be no penalties for that because we have a variety of issues out there. How does that sound?
Paul, Paul, I have a concern. This is Karen with Winter Haven. Sorry. I'm hearing the referee assigners too, saying that some of them can't see games, some of them can't see scheduling. I think in the best interest of everybody, especially your referees, that maybe you just cancel the games this weekend and, like you said, move them back toward the end of the season, reschedule them, take the season out a week later. That way it'll give your referees time to get with Got Sport, because right now Got Sport also is not taking any live calls. You have to email and create a ticket.
I know.
So yeah, so if they don't know or don't have access, it's not that easy to get in touch with them to get it fixed in a week.
Oh, no, I get it. Is there anybody on the other side? Can someone else tell me the other side of that? And we got to decide this together. It's not up to me. I'm not that smart.
That doesn't guarantee us that we're going to be ready for the following week as far as referees. You can say that for this week, but that doesn't guarantee next week unless Got Sport gets in touch with us and goes over all the problems that we have. And they haven't. And they've given us a piece of the puzzle another piece of the puzzle. But the way they're going, the puzzle's not going to be made until the end of the year. So, what guarantee do we have? Now,
Yes,
use the
so
old-
Dave, you're saying 1 week may not help.
yeah, because I haven't seen anything coming from Godsport that shows that they even give a crap. Okay?
I have a question for Sherry. Sherry, have you gotten a lot of requests at all from other clubs besides Les? And I see that Lehigh is stating that they are not ready either. Have you gotten a lot of requests of rescheduling games?
I have gotten a good amount, but not as many as I would have expected. So I am worried about that. That people haven't figured out how to do it. And then next week they're going to not show up, And then the other piece of that is I have a couple of late entries, including yours, to add, not picking on you. But I also have another club that wanted to put a team in, and I told her no, but if we, just because the schedules already ran and everything, but if we did push it back, then maybe I could, I know I'm already gonna work your team in. We already talked about that.
Here's my other input on this. Considering the limited amount of games we're playing this year compared to past years, we have plenty of time to play the games. We're playing on the average 10 to 12 games, whereas in the past we play 14, 16 games. So it's easier to complete the schedule this year if we push the games back as opposed to the past years when we had 14, 16 games per team.
So Les, if it came to a vote, you would vote to cancel the first week.
At least, yes.
Everybody, not whoever can
Well,
play.
Largo feels the same, that we want to wait a week. We feel the same way. There's a lot of things uncertain. My wife says she has a problem with one of the teams that we have to play this weekend, getting them rostered. So I think waiting a week would be probably best for everybody.
Anybody else?
And I do know,
everybody. I need anybody that's got an idea.
I do know Minnesota, like they can't see their games, so they can't schedule, they can't put them on fields. So that's another club that's having a problem.
Yeah. Greg, you had something to say. What? This is like the Oracle at Brooksville. Greg, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you say you had something to say? You were chiming in? No?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Okay, Paul, I would like to make a motion to postpone the first week.
Yes.
I like to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second, all right.
Aye.
Is that everybody? Kathy, aye or nay?
Selfishly,
for Lehigh.
started because we just don't know where COVID's going. I mean, Lee County is pretty high right now. We count on Hugo so much. If Hugo says he's got things going, I personally don't have a problem with.
Okay, so you're a nay.
Penalization for any teams that weren't ready, but if some teams are ready, it seems like, why can't we play?
All right, well, let's go with this one and just vote it and then see, and then go with any alternative if we need to. So Kathy's a nay on that one. Alan,
Aye.
Merritt. Merritt's still there? David.
Aye. Yeah, I'm
Dave.
here, Paul. I'm here, Paul.
All right.
I'm gonna play present.
All right.
I don't have any teams.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know.
Well, I realize
I
that.
trust
Well,
your opinion.
My
right,
thought
now-
is I want to go over, and I'm
All
glad we got some signers on it because I was going to reach out to them. Is we'll have 2 or 3 dates either this week and dates and times, and go over our law changes. I mean, as our rule changes as far as the rostering.
Let me just get this done, Merritt, real quick.
Okay, all right.
James,
Aye.
vote on the motion. Les,
Aye.
Coco,
Aye. Can you hear me? Aye.
David, you voted aye. I've got James. I got, who don't I have? Mike's not there, not here.
Me, you
Carrie.
don't have me, Paul.
One.
Aye,
On.
aye.
Okay, all right. So we've, no matter what anybody else votes, the ayes take it. Now, here's what I understand. We are in agreement, at least as a board, that we will cancel all the games, correct? We will cancel this week and everybody will make that game up. We're not pushing them back. We're canceling this match this week. So all the coaches will have to get into each other and make up and get the game, just as if they had a reason to call and say, I can't make the match and I want to reschedule it. So we're going to reschedule the first week, correct? All right, good. All right. I like personally,
Aye.
I think the idea that everybody is, anybody ready to play is playing, but I think that makes it difficult for the referees because they don't know whether to schedule if you're ready or not. You know, they'd have to ask everybody to make sure they didn't have guys showing up to a field with no teams. So I think that the one way or the other works better for the referees as far as confusion. So you guys, Burke, Dave, James, well, James is, I don't know if he's, how many you're scheduling for us, James. And Hugo, you got that, right? So the first week you get to your refs, anybody you've assigned, pull them back. Apologize for us, please. It's rather short notice.
And you may get lucky. You may get lucky. Grace may come right up the gut and pour a ton of rain. You never know.
No, but yeah, but
Never know.
Well, let's get ahead of this one, though. This is why we really had this meeting tonight, why we needed to. All right. Thank you. So that issue is done. We're going to push it back 1 week. If we find out there's some other crazy reason why we can't, it'll be emails or me calling you. All right. All right.
Hey, Paul,
Next.
can I ask Sherry a question?
Yes.
Sherry, you there?
I'm here.
On the scheduling, from what I understand, we send you our home game and fields and you put it in, right? I don't see.
I put the
don't see
field
how-
in time. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
No.
my
No.
home time. How do I get that on in the schedule?
Your
Got
field
soccer. Yeah, it was in there. You dragged it right to your time and field.
Right,
Not the same.
right. Yes, it's the same. Your field scheduler should be doing that.
So he'll grab the games will be there, Larry. He'll grab the game and move it. And there's a, what is it? Like a, what's the word I want? There's a
Drag and
framework.
drop? You mean we got to drag and drop them?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We got
Well, it's
soccer.
not
Wait,
Got
It's
soccer.
not
was
even
easy.
game.
I'm not finding that. Is that in the, where it says the scheduling request?
As participant. Go into as participant. I think it was in there.
I think you have to be, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, logged in as the club, correct?
Yeah,
To
you
be
have
able to
be in the
see
club.
that?
Yeah, you may not be able to see that, Larry.
No, well, I am the scheduler. I'm trying to figure out how to put it in. I
Larry,
don't have any of my home games in.
Larry, when you get off, just call me. I did it here, so I can.
Yeah, Larry, there's 10 guys on this call, though, that can probably help you.
Okay.
And Greg and Sherry too, because they'll probably know also how to drag and drop. All right. All right. Someone lost internet. I don't know who that is.
Hey, surprisingly, mine's still on.
Lost internet connection agreed to no game next weekend. Thank you for all you do for the game. Thank you. All right, let's keep moving. We got anything else? I mean, that's the big thing out of the way. That's really why I wanted to get together tonight. Old business, let me just go through it. Well, one other thing, let's stop. When are we going to do junior When are we gonna organize the juniors the way we had it? And Juan, are you still good for that? Do you need help? Juan, you still there, buddy? Maybe that is Juan.
He's
Well,
muted.
that was one.
Yep. No, I would be ready. I did ask Sherry the other day if we had a date. Said that there was gonna be determined today. So whatever we,
Well, what's a good date? Sherry, Greg, Juan? Well, what's a good date to do this?
Well, see, now we're not playing next week.
It's too soon.
I know, but it'd been a perfect.
Look, Sherry, let's work back from when we start. We're gonna have a start date of 10/21 probably, right? Or 10.
That's usually what it is, right around there.
So we
All
should
right.
do the
So
coaches
we've
meeting
got,
9/18.
2 months, more than 2 months from today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we wait till after Labor Day when everything is settled down a little bit?
I would say 9/18.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's get through the issues of the seniors
Okay.
first.
All right, so Juan, 9/18 and everybody else, and Juan, reach out if you need help. It says a lot of,
Hey,
that's a lot. Now,
9/18's a Saturday. You're cool with a Saturday?
You
No,
might have
we used to do
problems
it
with
Saturday.
coaches.
You want to do it Sunday? We used to do them Saturdays.
We used to, but we weren't in the middle of a league.
Correct. Coaches are gonna already have other things on for other teams they're
So
coaching.
9/19 works too.
Okay.
9/19.
9/19. Anybody object to that?
I agree, 9/19.
9/19.
Cool.
Okay.
And just FYI, the deadline was the 10th of August, but I haven't turned it off. I'm still accepting applications because I know
Okay.
people are having trouble, you
It's
know.
been a crazy
I
year.
got a couple of teams coming in.
Sherry, we just added 2 teams tonight, Sherry.
Yeah, I keep seeing them coming in, so I'm just gonna let it keep
Alan, we
going.
added your 2 babies tonight.
All right, so we got a date for that. We know what we're doing. Next.
Hey.
Well, we'll
Alan, go
put
ahead.
this off.
Oh, hey, can we do this? I know Kathy has an idea and I have an idea that's probably on the same thing. With this COVID thing, the U9s, U10s, can we try to make them regional?
Sure, let's get them in first, Alan, and then we'll
Yeah.
figure out how we're gonna group them. We got another issue, and that's with this 8-year-old. We've had 8s play as 9s. It's really 9s that are
Future.
playing up.
Future nines.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, but they're U9s. They're not U8s. They're U9s for us, for our purposes. So
Right.
on our fields, they play U9 rules. So we've had somebody in the last couple of days say, well, you can't, somebody from FYSA, who I won't mention, say, well, you can't do, they got to be 8s and all this other nonsense. And my question is, before we accept the 8s and schedule them, which we have been doing, I'm not wild about it personally, but that my personal feelings don't matter. We've been doing it and nothing has seemed to, it's a convenience if we schedule them. However, I think that when FYSA runs their 9s and 10s, they got a bunch of kids that are underage, probably playing up. My question is, and that's what we got to find out, these kids who are 7 are really playing up a year. Is that legitimate in your eyes? I don't want to run afoul of FYSA, but I think that they're being, all of a sudden, they seem to notice what we're doing. We're not guys that a lot of people at FYSA likes. And we've got a number of guys that do like us that are on the board. But I'm thinking we're being, this issue is really, nobody else is worrying about it except one person, and it's us they're worried about. And my
so
question,
Paul, in
yes,
the past, we have done, we have played 7v7.
yes,
I have had extraordinary competition, very much fun for the little kids. The only thing that I have heard over the years is that we are not only us, because CDL does the same thing, with the difference that when we played CDL, we play 6v6. The field size is still the same, and it's goalie plus five plus five field players. And yes, US soccer is saying that it should be only 4v4, I believe, without a goalie. I think that we should continue with it if we have enough, because there is there are teams. That is the way we all start in the clubs. You can do the pre-academy which is still in-house, and then the U8 age group. Number one, you have parents that are willing to play, to take the kids there. The competition has been, for me, an excellent competition. It's not exactly out of control. It is very, very important for us in the clubs to get the kids out of rec early enough so that they don't get used to YMCA and I-9 and all those programs. So I'd say we stay our course.
Yes.
Well, I in the past 3 years, I've been to probably 20 clubs with my grandson and all my grandkids playing in that U8 format. And I got to tell you, the difference between those kids at the beginning of the season and the end of the season is like night and day. For real, honest to God. I mean, the coaches are doing a great job. The kids are actually learning the game, the build outline. I don't believe in it, but that's beside the point. But, you know, why pigeonhole kids into 4v4 until they're 10 years old? That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Yes.
Well, obviously, US Soccer has no idea how to teach soccer anyway. We know.
Well, that's true. We don't have a national team that can
We've already
qualify for the
demonstrated
World
that.
Cup.
Yeah, but anybody else on the other side? But no, look, I'm kidding. But I understand the 4v4, the amount of touches, etc. Technically, we're not playing 8U either. The kids are playing under 9. That is a fact, and I want that. I will check to see if that is in fact legal, and I think it is, because we've been doing it for years. You know, in other words, the kids are playing up. Can they play up at 7? Of course they can. The FYSA has events that have 9U 7-year-old kids playing, but I will recheck that and make sure that we are safe doing it. But the feeling is, and has always been in this league, that we have always seemed to go against the grain of US Soccer, but it's always seemed to work for us as far as the teams enjoying themselves and having a match that they're having fun in.
And by the way, Paul, my question to, if there is an issue of FYSA, what about all the excellent tournaments like the Bradenton Cup, Sarasota Cup, and Largo, that have great competition in those tournaments, and they are all FYSA sanctioned? So would there be a double standard or what? And we play the U8 tournaments in the same rules: 7v7, 1 goalkeeper, same size.
And you played in an FYSA sanctioned tournament.
I'm talking Bradenton Cup, I'm talking Sarasota Cup, I'm talking Largo United, all of them FYSA sanctioned tournaments.
Okay, good. That's what anybody else have a opposite view, which is, you know, except, I mean, is there anything we're doing that we're missing here? I think Juan's point is well taken.
Well, there is many, like Juan said, there is so many tournament that has U8. So if FYSA is coming to USA saying we got to play 4v4.
No, they really haven't. They're questioning whether we're having a league, and of course we've been having one for years, so I don't know why. But and I just think it's in other words, that's something, we got so many issues. I mean, this whole God Sport thing and everything else. The guys on the board can really dig into 45 problems before they get to something like this. It's silly. To me, but you know, again, we need as a board. It's not me, it's us.
And I just speak from Southwest Florida area. You know, when we has some changes. It's the clubs that's asking.
Correct. And the clubs are really the thing.
So
right?
it's not USA saying we're gonna do it. Clubs has been asking, we want UA, same thing down in Southwest Florida.
So if we organized and had a Southwest Florida kind of league down there, you would support an 8U, and you got to call them 9s though, because otherwise it doesn't work.
Just call them, you gotta call them future 9s.
That's what we do. We call
There
it
you go. Or
You
you can
can't
use the
call them
same-
9s.
You can call them, that's what CDL does. It's called 9U developmental.
Yeah, or future 9s, because otherwise you'll have honest to goodness 9-year-olds playing in that league, which are too old.
Right, right.
But
So it
here's
just
the
has-
thing is that you guys being on the board, if the clubs is asking for U9, what is holding you guys to say we're not going to do it?
We didn't do it years ago.
Okay.
I mean,
No,
we
because-
have, well, we're not saying they can't do it. They're saying we're not going to schedule. That's the only thing we would, as a negative, we would say, we don't want to schedule that. We're not interested in scheduling that. That's all. And we didn't. We had years where we did not schedule that age group.
The first year,
Now, through the years, we had clubs come to us and say, geez, we're going to do this anyway. It would be better if we had a schedule and had the same rules in a way, because even the refs you get locally, we're not assigning the refs to those matches. We're just helping the ease of we're just making it easier to schedule it, period. But we did
Many
not
years
schedule it.
ago- Many years ago, we didn't have U8, U9, we had U10, so it's going the other way. And the clubs are the one who's asking for it.
yeah, we had the first year.
I'm 100% behind you. I think that if we all understand what we're doing, we all know we don't want to pressure the kids and put them, but we also know that if they're in these a better soccer, more elegant scheduling, more looking like an event, that the kids and the parents like it better. And it doesn't seem, I think Juan's point is well taken, it doesn't seem to have hurt them. And to Greg and Juan's point, by the end of the season, the kids have changed. They've improved a lot in that format. So how can it be wrong? I don't know. You know?
It's wrong if the coaches aren't teaching small-sided games.
No, but you already got a problem, Greg.
Right.
If
Oh, no, I know.
the coaches aren't
But the naysayers should be going after the coaches, not the league. When we started this, we had 32 teams in that division. We had like 5 or 6 different brackets all over. Tons.
All right, so we're all agreed there. We're going to continue to look at it and schedule it and figure out how to schedule it. All right, next, is there anything? Old business, the grants were distributed. We sent out, I know you guys, thanks, Greg, Coco, the guys that went to the meeting. I couldn't go to the dinner. I don't like to miss many dinners, but and you can see I haven't missed a whole lot in my lifetime. But I was sorry I couldn't be there. And the AGM, you guys, all of you guys, I really miss seeing you there. That is the highlight of the year for me. I talked myself hoarse, the entire time. And the people we have on this board, I'd love to see them too in person. So I apologize. I sent out a picture to a couple because I was sick as a dog, man. There was no possible way I could get there. It was a head cold, so I'm good. But I apologize. I don't apologize, but I mean, I hated to miss that. I hated to miss that. So we're past the big things. We did get we got the grants out. The Scott Sport, there's no more needs to be said about it. It is a mistake. It's an awful mistake. It's not ready, and we're going to deal with it as best as we can. I think the people we have, Sherry particularly, Greg to some degree, I see the guys on with the assigners have really dug in and are trying to get it right, which I give you all credit for staying with it. But there's nothing we can do about it except complain. We're discussing, we already discussed the start of the season, game reports. Sherry, I think, has told us what we needed to know. The deadline we talked about. COVID, let's just, again, nobody knows where this thing is going. I mean, one day it seems like we're past it. The next day it's not. The schools I know have had I just read today in a paper and online, they've had hundreds of kids that had to opt out of school. When it hits one of our kids who are on our teams, the entire team is properly quarantined, which means they can't make a game. I don't know what the protocol is at the different sites, and it may change tomorrow. You may get a note from whoever leases the fields to you and say, here's what you're going to do. So we know we're in that another question mark, and that's all we can say. It's up to every guy. Please communicate with one another. New business, set the date for coaches meeting. We did the junior coaches meeting. Merritt and Greg, you will set the date for the referee meetings. That's, I don't know when, but you'll do that. AGM. Look, was there anything you guys saw at the AGM that was worth talking about? That's worth the time we can spend on it? Was there anything we learned? I wasn't there to see it. I don't know what came out of it. That there's a billion leagues. There's more leagues. There's more guys in. There's more decisions people have to make, and whether the league works for them or not is a question. This looks like the new gold rush. As far as I can see, leagues are hopping down here as fast as they can, trying to grab some money. And look, God bless them. We welcome all the competition. Our members are our members. If they are playing in 3 leagues, fine. We're here to provide play, and we're here to provide elegant soccer, period. So we'll do that. Anybody else in AGM? Did anybody else glean anything brilliant from it?
No, you know what I wanted to say, Paul?
Yeah.
And this for all the clubs and whoever can afford it. I must say that that international coaching symposium that the Florida Soccer School puts together is just extraordinary. And that's the second time that I have been there. So I recommend that in the future, if they keep bringing the speakers that they bring, I think that every club should consider sending their DOCs, their coaches there, because it's really an impressive symposium. And everybody knows that it's not exactly a personal question for me. I don't have any stakes in that, but I think that symposium is really an incredible contribution to our coaches and to Florida soccer.
Thanks, Juan. I did see something here. I think Les sent it, but it's worth noting for all of us. It was from this Business Insider. This is something we probably know already, but it remains that it has now gotten to be well known. Youth sports referees are quitting in droves due to a toxic combination of abuse from coaches and parents, low salaries, and COVID-19. And we do have the program that Merritt has instituted. Hopefully all you guys will take advantage of his expertise.
I like the leather yellow truck though. I like it. Shout out to all the guys at fraternity. I've been learning my whole life from my parents. They've been the greatest thing.
Ray, can you mute?
Who is that?
Ray, can you mute?
Fly away from the nest.
Who's
Ray?
Open up my own restaurant and have IPA come and visit that restaurant.
Ray, can you mute?
No,
sorry.
What I'm worried about when you're working with pros and trip, what typically ends up happening?
What the heck?
Can you mute him, Zach?
So that's a concern.
Zach, can you mute him?
It's a serpenter. Let's make these 2 items shine.
Ray, can you mute him?
Yeah.
Right, it's Ray that's doing it. Remember, Ray.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, can you mute him?
I
Yeah,
got
what
it.
I don't like about his talk is that he's talking about surf and turf, and then we are here without dinner, man.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta find his name on here.
He's muted now.
He's muted.
Okay, must have got him. Okay. I got him. Okay.
So Paul, just to go back to what you were saying, a little bit, and I'm sending out to all the assigners. I got all the assigners' phone numbers and all. And I'm going to have some Zoom meetings. I have a Zoom account, so I'll have Zoom meetings. We'll bring on all the referees. Number one, cover the new law changes so they're aware, and then cover the changes that USA League has in regard to player passes and on the roster. Remember, we kind of modified that a little bit this year, that they'll be able to add to the roster, but once it's checked in, it's final. And then, I'm going to set 2 or 3 different dates that they can come on, and we'll do a Zoom stuff, and I'll obviously go through all the assigners, and we'll get all that set up. And then also try to do some this week to let them know the issues with the GOT sport, and see if we can let them keep them
Yeah,
up to
some
date.
of them may have some insight too, Mary, just like these guys that as far as helping somebody else, or at least telling them, here's what I did and I was able to get it done.
They can
This is
share
going to take a
information.
lot of communication, and I think you and Greg both can be the center points of it for us.
Merritt, please remember that we are still on waiting for you to tell me when we can do your first.
Greg, is
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
a
yeah, we're
dog,
gonna-
Greg, or is that part of your neck?
I'm sorry, Paul, go again.
I see. I'm a little concerned about Greg. It looks he's grown another head.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I got a real needy little one here.
He needs protection. Hey, Juan, we'll be setting it up. I'll be reaching out. I guess we got to get some
I'm
stuff
listening
going.
back at the meeting.
Yeah. So we'll set it all up. I'll give you a buzz.
Sure.
I've already talked to, I was talking to somebody at your club already. But anyway, we'll get it going. I'm
All right,
back. I'm back from doing a lot of stuff. We had the AGM and all that. And now I'm able to focus. I'll be focusing more on it.
But just to quickly follow up on that, we've got Merritt, and we're putting our money where our mouth is as far as anything he can do. He's folksy. He knows everybody. It's not like he's a typical ref, although he is in some ways, we know. But he's as powerful a guy that you can get down on your in your club. To talk to parents, to talk to kids, to train, whatever he's got to do, he's there to do it. 2 and 3, the parents and the coaches, we can stop that. The pay, we could probably go up, but not this year. That'll be a question for next season. The COVID-19, there's nothing we can do about it. So there are things we can do to try and change the downward spiral, and we've got to try. We've got to try. I think we're the only league that is actually trying to go after the problem. If we all did that, and all the clubs did that, well, we could build up that base again.
The state's
Paul,
not even
Paul,
doing it.
Paul, let me share something with you. I was meeting with a couple of the guys over on the East Coast, and we found a production company that has the cameras and all, and we're contemplating and trying to put it all together is something titled why I hate refereeing, or something like that, or why I don't referee anymore, and do it in a professional way with the script and all that stuff.
Great idea.
And then they're actually going to go, there's a tournament over on the East Coast, and they're going to have the camera guys go out and record the parents yelling at kids, the coaches yelling at kids, and then interviewing referees after the game, and what do they think?
Ask you something. If you put that out, do you have to get the parents or coaches' permission to use it?
Technically, I would think so, but I don't know if it's part of their registration form that they fill out, and I've already even talked about that.
Well, that'd
You
be
know, your
something to cover
likeness
our
and
head because
your likeness. So like when I went to a US soccer tournament, DA Academy, on the form was your likeness and image might be used in educational videos. So, and you had to, you know, when you signed it, you knew what was going on. And the other thing too is we're doing it in a public environment. So that's, you know, if it's like being on the street.
I'd have at least 12 lawyers look at that before. I'm sure they will.
Well, that's okay. We'll get a stop and desist type.
You need to have a release for sure.
That's if you're trying to make money on it. I don't know that we're trying to make money on it. I would try to make money on it, but we'll see what happens.
All right, look at.
All right. So anyway, that's something we're working. That's something I got in the works as well. So.
All right. Well, let's get for the good of the games last, before we get the executive committee. Although I don't see a lot for that. Let's get through that. We're done with this meeting. Will someone please?
I'll make a motion to end the general meeting.
Someone second it.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Let's open up executive committee. I don't know that we got anything different, to tell you the truth.
No.
Well, I got a question.
I got a couple of things.
How are we going to handle the situation if a team call like the night before to say they have a COVID situation? Are we going to use the same rules as last year?
Well, let me ask you something, Les. Can we? Is there any certainty we can have that the guy's lying about?
We have no certainty. No, we have to trust that they are telling the truth.
So to me, that's the answer, right?
I didn't have.
I guess we'll employ the same rules as last year then.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
Paul, I must say we played at the club last year because I keep that stat. We played a total of 766 games. And I didn't have one time the feeling that any team that canceled, and there might have been perhaps 10 cancellations, that anybody was misusing the COVID-19 excuse just not to show up. I personally agree with Les that we should continue being flexible. Today, something happened to me that has been kind of my measurement about COVID-19. Whenever Starbucks closes their lunches and you cannot sit down there, something is coming. And they are closing tomorrow. I just
I've got,
Starbucks and they were closing.
Guys under COVID right now.
Do you?
I have had in the last 2 weeks, 3 teams under COVID, just from practice.
Yeah. All right. So, but Les, so we're gonna use the same. Now, here's a question: do we pay the center?
Well, it depends on when the notification is sent out, and that's I don't remember what we did last year.
We paid him, I think, because
in one case, in one of my games, I found out at 10 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours before the game. In that case, the center was already on his way to the field.
How do you find out 2 hours before the game? Jesus.
Because that's when we got notified by the other team.
Well, that's the problem with this COVID, Greg. It's more last minute than it ever has been.
Yeah.
Because this could happen
I'm in favor
overnight.
of paying refs under almost any circumstance that is reasonable, because they're hard enough to get. They took the assignment in good faith. We, not our club, but the guys that were supposed to be at the fields failed, not them. And so I think we should, I don't think it costs us a lot, first of all, if it did, but I think us as a league is wise to be lenient and cover as many of those guys as we can. There weren't many last year, but I think my thinking is you should. We've made a pact. There are referees. We want them working with us. We want them when they get a game from us, we want them feeling like no matter what happens, they'll either be notified so they can get another match, or they will get paid.
Yeah, we found out last year 2 hours before the game was to be played.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, the whole referee crew was on the way to the field, and I felt they should be paid, and we did pay them.
Very good.
Careful when you're saying, Paul, should we pay the centers? You can't just pay this the centers. The club still needs to pay the AR.
Well, that's up. We don't pay the AR. I mean, we don't, that's not our, we don't assign the ARs. We can't pay them. The club can, we can't.
I understand that, but some of those ARs are also centers on every games. If they don't get paid by their clubs,
Yeah, we can't, we can't control the club's got to deal with that issue. We can only deal with the guys we assign.
Well, we do it from our end if it's the same day like the case last year. We'll pay the AR from the
I
club.
mean, I think you should. I think the club should cover the ARs also if it drops dead on them, if the game drops dead on them. But we can't, as the league can't, because we're not assigning them. We have no control over them. We do with the center. We have asked, USA has asked the center to be at a place and time for us, for our purposes. And if he can't fulfill that obligation for no fault of his own, I think we're responsible, or should be responsible for that. There aren't that many matches, but I think it's very good policy for a league to do that. I think it also shows some faith to the refs that when they get an assignment from USA, they're either going to do the game, or they're going to get paid, or they're going to know in time that they can pick up another match in time to fill that time slot for themselves.
I believe last year, Paul, on the game that I talked about, USA paid the ARs because of when the game was canceled.
Okay. But we can decide as a board what to do. My thinking is I can't control the ARs, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, Paul, one other thing in regard to referees and COVID. I know some rules in some clubs, or I don't know if it's the county, they want to have the teams on each side on two different sides of the field and all that stuff. Had we?
Yeah, I think, Merritt, our thing is that whatever the home team requires,
okay,
we've got to do, because they'll lose their lease if they decide, hey, well, we're going to do what we want to do.
Well,
that's fine. I just want to make sure we cover it with the referee.
Here's my concern with that, and I'm going to give you a good example. Having the parents on the same sideline with the players is a disaster.
I agree.
And recall Arbondale and Plant City last year. That was a disaster. I was at the game. Okay.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm just telling you.
No, I know you're not married, but there's a lot of teams, and I know Arbondale is one of them, that believe the opposite side is best. But when you have the parents on the same sideline with the players and the coaches, that is a disaster.
Agree.
And I don't like that. There's no reason why the two teams can't be on the same sideline, because you still have physical distancing. So what's the issue with keeping them on the same sideline? At my club, we keep them on the same sideline because I don't want the parents on the same sideline with me.
But Les, if Hillsborough County says, here's how it's going to go, you want the teams on opposite sides.
They never did, Paul.
No, but I'm saying if
it's a county thing, we can't control it. But
That's
in
my
Polk
point.
County, that was
That's my
not the issue. But there are some teams in Polk County that did that. We did not.
Well, I'm just checking. So based on what I'm hearing, the USA League is we want parents on one side with social distancing, and we'll have the teams on the other side.
No, Mary.
That's our position, but we can't control the county, what the county says.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
But the thing is, Merritt, whatever the leasee on the fields that we are playing on, whatever the leasee requires, is exactly what we got to do. Period.
Well, Well, Paul,
Right,
can I be
okay.
honest with you? The reason why these clubs went that direction, that was FYSA recommendation. That had nothing to do with the county.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but
FYSA recommended and some clubs adopted it. But you look at how many times those situations become extremely volatile because the parents are on the same sideline.
Yeah, no, Les, I agree with you, but as far as, what I'm saying is if the county dictates how the field's gonna be laid out, in other words, these guys are gonna be across from each other, we don't, as USA, we have no choice. We don't,
Well,
that's not our purview now.
And I can tell you, as far as I know, none of the counties dictated that. The
Yeah,
clubs
but
choose
if
to
the club
follow
dictates it,
FYSA.
Clubs, it's a whole different thing, you know? In other words, we don't want, our normal setup is for USA. If we find that, Les, we'll go back and adjudicate it. We can take care of it.
Well, I just think FYSA recommendation was ridiculous, period.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Les, I'll tell you what, though, at Commissioner's Cup and at President's Cup, I was there for both of those. And having both teams and their parents on the same side of the field divided by the half line was a lot easier, less chaos, everything else.
Not my Commissioner Cup game that I watched with my U12 girls. That was a disaster.
Where was that? I must have missed that one. That
Well,
wasn't
ask Mike Flood and ask the other people, the other people who were there. And that was a disaster.
What happened?
Because the parents, I have a couple of parents on my U12 girls team that I have to suspend in the past because they are out of control. And they got out of control at one of those games. And I was there.
And they crossed the half line?
Yep. In the coach's face because the coaches didn't cry out to the referee because one of our players got fouled.
Yeah, well, see, whoever the field marshal was should have removed those people from the field.
Yeah. So,
That's on the field. That's on the field marshal.
So, and that's why I don't like it. It's too close. It's too close contact. We can't even keep parents away from parents, much less parents up in coach's face questioning things.
Yeah, I agree with Les. I mean, the optimal thing is having the parents on one side and the kids on the other, the kids and coaches on the other. My point is, if that's what a facility requires, then that's all. I mean, we really don't have a say-so in that. If it's not a facility and it's a club, then we probably can dictate a little bit and say we don't want that. We want the typical setup. We want the coaches almost. I don't know that we have a format, and I don't know if FYSA does.
It's unfortunate. I was present at the two most disastrous situation last year at Arbondale, where Arbondale played Plant City, and I was there to watch my high school players. And my Commissioner's Cup U12 girls, I was there to watch them and see some of the things that developed because of that situation.
Paul, we do have
And if you recall,
protocol.
the
called
coach
laws
from
of
the
the game.
Plant City, we suspended for what, a year?
Yeah.
Am I correct, Greg?
Well, the Plant City guy, the two of them, right? One of them's a year and some, and the other one was for a couple of games, right? It was 3 games or something.
Yeah.
Talking about 2 Plant City guys. Merritt, you had something to say though that's instructive. What is it?
Well, I was just saying, USA does have a protocol as far as normal games and normal situation.
Is there
That's
something in the
called-
bylaws that actually says where everybody's got to be?
Yeah, absolutely. It's in
Okay,
the
good.
laws of the game. And it's under law 1, field and technical area. So,
Oh, very good. Okay, good.
That's another thing, Paul. We should require clubs to have a technical area for their coaches and coaches not running the whole 100 yards on the field.
Well,
up and
according to
down.
Merritt, we do.
Well, the field should, the team should paint the technical area.
well, they don't. You're not going to get that, Les.
I do agree with that, Les, but that practically speaking is almost impossible to do. I mean, it's already, and I tell you that the club just bought that robot, and it's fantastic to paint the fields.
Yeah, we did too. Juan, what are you paying for that?
I don't talk about money. I'm sorry. I have no clue. I have no clue, but I know that the club bought it. We already tried it and it's fantastic.
Schimberg
painting
Schimberg and Mike's place both, we rent it. We don't buy it. We pay it every year, but I'm 20 grand in at this.
the club bought it and we tested it last week. It's
Yeah, I understand it's fantastic though.
it is.
Just as a, okay.
But
So we
but
don't have any
again,
pro-
the point of the technical area, I would love to have that, but it would add a tremendous amount of painting on
Well,
every.
it's 3 lines, Juan, 3 lines.
Yeah, I don't see where that's gonna be a big issue.
Three lines. What do you mean 3 lines? Les, you would.
It's 3 lines. It's a box, 2 short boxes and a lot, and this where the guy needs to stay.
On every field.
Well, I do it at my field.
Is that, you're talking about on either side of the,
On the coach's bench.
yeah. Okay. And not where, I mean, I've seen, and we've done it at times, we actually had another line for a setback for the parents.
And we do that too also, the parent line, at least minimum 5 to 10 yards away from.
Well, I mean, for kids' safety, it's another issue. They come pile, especially the big kids, they come piling off the field and there's a metal chair there, you know.
No, you know what, Les, you're right. It's not that big of a deal if I think about it. I mean, you have to add it, and I don't know if that machine has that option to be added, but yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
What you might think about is instead of using a solid line, they just use dashes, you know?
Yes. That's
Remember,
another
one of the
option there.
dashes a certain distance on both sides of you measure from the bench?
No, well, yeah, the technical area is defined as 1 meter off the end of their bench. And then to 1 meter from the touch line. That's the definition of a technical area. So if they only got a 3-foot bench, they only got a 3-foot, they got a 6-foot technical area. That's all they have.
Not
So
some
the
of these
guy
coaches,
could put a couple benches in there, right, lengthen the sin and run the whole sideline, right?
not some of these coaches run up and down to the corner line and coach it.
Oh,
get-
well,
get
and then,
more-
and
get
then
some
that's
more
on the
benches.
referee. Then
Get
that's
some
on
more
the
benches.
referee to make them
Well, you
do
know
it. And
what?
I have
mean,
issues with referees doing that.
I mean, the
so.
first thing is the referees can enforce that and within reason, say, hey, you're outside of the technical area.
Oh,
Now,
they
if the guy
can
wants
enforce
to say, I'm not, you can stop the game and measure and actually see without the line.
Well, I
Because
think
he's
once
still
you
gonna
pass the
bullshit,
18,
so that
once you
wasn't
pass
over
the
the
18,
line.
you have gone too far.
Yes.
And go to Florida Premier. They got 6 coaches on the bench and they're up and down the line from corner flag to corner flag. They
That's
don't
what I'm
stop.
talking about.
They don't stop.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they don't stop.
Well, then they should be tossed out. So,
Tell the referee that and it don't happen.
No, but that is a true point. At the club, we are absolutely adamant. We do not, let's say, violate the law. We are always max 2 coaches. And when somebody has more coaches, I always ask the referee to check if they are allowed to be on the bench and if they are rostered.
I thought the data report only allowed you to have 3 coaches and a team manager.
yeah.
2 coaches and a manager. That's
I
it.
thought it's 2 coaches and a manager.
It's 2 coaches and a manager. That's it.
Or 3 people, whatever. So.
Right, 3 people.
But at our own clubs, we are allowed to enforce our rules. And yes, Florida Premier has this demeanor where they are. The other day, one guy of Florida Premier went on and hung a banner on our fence. So I said, you need to take that down. Why? He said, because it's $1,500 for the hour. So he took it down, but they have that demeanor. But I think that at our clubs, we just enforced it. You have that, you go there and you, Mr. Referee, this game stops until it's by the law, period.
But You know what that cost was? How come you don't know what the robot cost?
All right.
Because,
keep moving
because
here
he
so
keeps
we-
the
so we-
$1,500. That's
Touche.
why.
Because he's collecting money now. He's not spending money.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Is there anything else we need to cover in the executive meeting? We don't have any protests yet. I'm sure we will. Look, we just got to hang loose and adjudicate things as they come without bogging us all down with 50 hours a week on this thing. I think we got a lot done tonight on the start of the season, and that was good. So.
Paul, I'm sorry, I have something very fast.
Yeah.
While we were talking, I was checking. Some of our board members have not submitted their background check and heads up safe certifications, at least not as a board member. So I need
Who
it
are
from
they?
Coco, Kathy, Mike, I don't know if he's on, Juan, and Greg.
I'm working with Elda because I can't, I use the code that's given to me for Safe Sport and it doesn't work.
Okay, well, just FYI.
Yeah.
like-
No, I know. I got the concussion protocols done.
In some cases, Sherry, they have done it in the club and it just has to be moved over to USA also.
Correct, right, and I think
Right,
you can
because
just
like in my
upload your
case, I did
certificate.
it on USA and I had to
I
move it
think
to my
I
club.
did it in the club, and I think it carried to USA, I believe.
Yeah, you're good, yours is there, but
What's up, man? I think I did it
In
with
my
the
case,
FCT.
Sherry, in my case, I did everything. And it didn't come.
And the coach.
I'm sorry?
Okay, how do I drag mine over? I've been done as a board member for CCS and as a coach.
I think you just go in and there's an option to upload your certificate.
Right.
Yeah, that was done under CCSA. So I got to go to USA and upload it?
Correct. Do you need your login? Because I think I had sent it, but I can resend it to you.
Yeah, me too, because I know that I did everything for.
Well,
And
I
I
think
address and it took
from what I know, Sherry, if the background check is done on one side and it's not on the other side, FYSA has to move it and link it with both sides.
Oh.
Possibly. I'm not sure about that.
Because that's how mine was done. It was linked
Yeah.
with both sides.
Uh-huh.
That's true, Les.
Uh-huh. So, well, I have to find it, but I'll resend all your logins. And
So I
just-
suggest y'all call Rosemary. She'll fix it for you guys.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Lou.
That's all I have.
Sherry, are you gonna notify all the teams about the season
Of
being
course.
postponed?
I
Okay.
am. I'm going to send out a message. Keep in mind, that is another fault of Got Sport. I can't email through Got Sport. And so I'm having to go to last year's email list in Got Soccer. And I know I'm missing people because maybe they're in that role, but I don't have any other way of doing it short of individually, which is a little, not really feasible.
Well, I've notified my teams already, so.
So yeah,
Well,
so
let me ask you
any,
something though, Sherry, have you got to Got Sport and asked them about that or no?
I
I'm
did,
sure you
but
have.
it's a work in progress, but they
Oh,
haven't
okay.
come up with a way to email blast. You can do it like one person at a time,
Yeah,
but
but that
not
doesn't-
as a group.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so, I'm basically sending these out to last year's group, And then if I think of someone or someone says they didn't get it, of course I'll forward it to them. But if maybe you all could do the same, just blast it out to folks that maybe aren't receiving the information.
Right. Well, let's, someone want to call the end of this thing, make a motion, please?
Make a motion to close?
Right.
A second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Look, if there's
Aye.
any more, I'll either call you or email you too, and Sherry and Greg are in it. Let's just stay in touch close as we can, and if we got some other issues that are important, I will get to you one